Well, welcome viewers, Dr. JWA, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thanks for coming in. We're doing Muhammad. So near the revelation, so far from the Saviour. Episode 43. When mercy started feeling more necessary than fear. The room no longer merely feels exhausted now, it feels spiritually starving. That is what several ordinary followers increasingly begin sensing beneath the proclamation, though many now fear admitting it, even privately, to themselves. A younger man sits motionless during a gathering while respected voices speak about purity, judgment, sacrifice, weakness, loyalty, and destiny beneath exhausted torchlights. Nobody appears emotionally whole anymore, not even the men praised publicly as strongest. Several faces look hardened outwardly while carrying hidden collapse deep, too deep, for ideology, prayer repetition, sacrifice, or fear to repair. One speaker warns that mercy towards weakness threatens the movement by allowing impurity to survive beneath Muhammad's proclamation itself. The room absorbs the warning instantly, quietly, almost desperately, and that transformation matters enormously because ideological systems accelerating toward absolutism eventually stop healing human beings through righteousness. They begin hollowing them out beneath it, and the degeneration deepens there, not merely through violence externally, through internal starvation, spiritual starvation, through invisible hopelessness, through ordinary men increasingly discovering that fear can control behavior, but it cannot reconcile the soul to God. One follower privately wakes before dawn, shaking with anxiety after dreaming repeatedly about judgment, failure, and spiritual rejection despite years of sacrifice for the movement. Another forces visible certainty during gatherings because fear of appearing spiritually insufficient now feels more dangerous than emotional collapse itself. Yet beneath the proclamation surrounding the movement, both men increasingly suspect something catastrophic remains unresolved inside them. The structure is changing pathologically now, serially pathologically. Fear intensifies, peace disappears, shame multiplies, and the movement no longer merely regulates belief, identity, obedience, righteousness, sacrifice, even life and death. It increasingly regulates hope, worth, rest, and spiritual emotional permission to feel forgiven at all. The quieter man notices how quickly emotionally intense personalities now speak, as though human beings must permanently remain burdened beneath judgment in order to preserve righteousness itself. Another privately wonders why the deeper the movement pursues purity, the more spiritually fractured ordinary followers increasingly come beneath it. Nobody openly says you'll never find peace. Nobody needs to. The atmosphere already teaches that. The pressure grows heavier now because once condemnation becomes psychologically permanent, ordinary people slowly begin living as though reconciliation with God may remain forever unreachable through human striving itself. Several men now publicly praise sacrifice, while privately terrified. They remain spiritually contaminated despite everything they continue surrendering for the proclamation, and their lives could be sacrificed next. One speaker warns that longing for mercy, stronger than judgment, reveals emotional weakness, still resisting sacred destiny itself. And the room absorbs the warning immediately, heavily, fearfully, hopelessly. One follower now experiences guilt merely for longing privately for rest instead of endless striving for life instead of death. Another increasingly feels that beneath all the sacrifice, law, fear, violence, Islamic ideological certainty, and radical devotion surrounding Muhammad's civilization itself, humanity still remains spiritually orphaned before God. And perhaps this becomes one of the defining transitions in the trajectory ahead. Ordinary men increasingly stop asking whether they are obedient enough and begin silently wondering whether fear itself has trapped humanity inside endless condemnation, unable to heal the human soul. And the movement no longer merely demands surrender. It increasingly reveals the impossibility of reconciling humanity to God through fear, sacrifice, righteousness, and self-destruction alone. And once ordinary conscience begins recognizing that law cannot heal shame, violence cannot restore peace, and ideology cannot resurrect the spiritually exhausted soul, another quieter reality begins emerging beneath the collapse consuming the Islamic proclamation. The Messiah of the people of the book no longer feels merely theological. He begins feeling necessary, not for domination, not for condemnation, but for mercy, for forgiveness, for peace, and reconciliation with the Father beyond the terror consuming ordinary human beings beneath themselves within Muhammad's proclamation. I'm Dr. J.W.A., theologist since 1994. Like, subscribe, comment to educate me, share to help somebody else. See you in the next episode, when the soul started longing for rest.